And now, a 4-point play world premiere.
My name is Patrick Brennan, and I went to Vanderbilt University and soon transferred out after getting really good grades. After years of fantasy basketball play and multiple top 8 finishes, I've decided to help struggling fantasy teams turn into successful fantasy franchises. This is Patrick Dribbles On. Last week I received a phone call from Greg, a GM who selected LaMelo Ball with the 3rd pick because, quote, "it's what actually happened, right?" After discussing the rest of his roster, which included DeAndre Jordan, Aleksej Pokusevski, and Taco Fall, he asked me what avenues he had to get out of his current situation. The goal? Save Greg from himself by reducing the riskiness of his team. The strategy? Pair his only good player, DeAndre Jordan, with a perfect counterpart. We all know the power of a dynamic duo. Think Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Jordan and Pippen, Beasley and Pippen, Ben and Mike Conley. What do all these have in common? They play off each other. When one does well, the other performs well too. When one has an off night, the other one does too. In other words, their performances and outcomes are glued together like James Harden and strip clubs. In order to figure out the perfect counterpart for Greg's only good player, I stole some ideas from investment portfolio theory. In investment theory, putting together a portfolio of stocks means selecting stocks which are actually inversely related to each other in order to reduce risk. Like airlines and oil prices, as oil prices go up, airline stocks struggle. But as oil prices go down, airline stocks go up. Include both in your portfolio and you're bound to win and reduce your risk in the process. In basketball terms, that means we need players who actually perform opposite of each other. A dynamic duo is not exactly what we want. We want a tandem who mitigates each other's losses, perhaps because of the tantrums they throw when the other succeeds. A temper tandem is what we need. So I set out on a mission to find Greg the best temper tandem for his team. I placed an ad on Craigslist and hired a guy who called himself a Harvard statistician to analyze the data. He came back with the statistics on all 2,568 pairings of players who played more than 3 games together last year. I then threw out all the who he played for players, and there it was, the top temper tandems in the league. The best your turn, no my turn duos, I'm only going to play well if you're bad, pairings in the fantasy market. It's truly the only way to reduce risk without doing anything more than pairing players on your fantasy teams. One of 2019-20's top temper tandems is Malcolm Brogdon and TJ McConnell. You can see that they have an inverse relationship, so their game-to-game fantasy point variation is actually less if you pair them together. On the flip side, Eric Gordon and Austin Rivers were a dynamic duo, who performed well together and had a higher variation when paired together. I picked up the phone in a hurry to call Greg and let him know that I found the solution to all the problems on his team. All he needs to do is acquire Jarrett Allen, who is a temper tandem with DeAndre Jordan. Not only does this give insurance in case one player goes down, but their inverse relationship means Greg's team variation and risk goes down. Greg thanked me for my help and let me know that between our last call, he was able to trade DeAndre Jordan for Kevin Knox. And although he brushed over my hours of research calling it fake news, I felt that I was succeeding where Greg was failing. In the end, I learned that not all teams can be saved, but there's always a temper tandem for someone.